And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome back tonight Wall Street Journal best-selling author and soon-to-be a TV star extraordinaire, Isabella Maldonado, here to give us the inside scoop on her brand new book, A Forgotten Kill. Isabella, welcome back to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
It is always great to be here. I love it. And the book I'm really super excited about. This is one I had a lot of fun writing. And it's the follow-up to the first book in a new series. And this is book 2. And I'm busy now writing book 3. So there will be a third book. That's kind of an inside scoop that I'm first announcing right here. And but it is really exciting for anybody. This one is a serial killer, but with a really interesting, totally different kind of twist to it.
Ooh, well, I cannot wait to hear from the twist. And we love to get the inside scoop here on Mystery and Thriller Maven. So thank you for letting us know that there will be a book number 3 and that you're already hard at work on that. So I can't wait to hear more about that and to talk all things A Forgotten Kill. So first, I just want to welcome everybody because we are streaming live to 7 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So hey, mystery and thriller loving friends, no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday. And because Mondays can be murder, we're going to make them a little less painful for you and get your week off to a killer start. So if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome, friends. We're so happy to have you here. And if you've been here before, you know how this works. So just get your questions going in the comments and I'll get them right over to Wall Street Journal bestselling author and retired police Captain Maldonado, here to give us the inside scoop. So let's see who's saying hello. Randy Trent joining us from YouTube. Hi, Randy. Always such a pleasure to see your name and Kitty pop up. Robin's joining us from Facebook saying, hello, Sara and Isabella. Hi, Robin. Such a pleasure to see your name pop up. And oh my goodness, we have award-winning author Tracy Clark in the house. Hi, Tracy. I'm such a Tracy stan. Tracy, welcome. It's been such a pleasure to host Tracy as well. So I'm so excited you're all here. Okay, so Isabella, we got to talk about this book. So in this book, your protagonist, Dani, is chasing down a serial killer in New York. And then she finds that it leads to a chilling incident in her past because Dani actually witnessed a murder herself, and it was in her own family. Tell us about that.
Yes. Yeah. This is why it's different. I don't seem to ever be able to write a straightforward plot. It's just not my DNA. Everything has to be like layers upon layers and everything's convoluted. I guess it's the way my brain is. Maybe it's a good thing for a change. But yes, so it's an interesting story. And I wanted to set it up this way because in the first book in the series, we get to know Daniela Vega, who I'll talk more about her later because she's just probably the coolest character I've ever written. She's like who I want to be, but I'm not. But
you're the coolest, Isabella. You are. Don't be modest.
But in this book, I decided, well, she was just so busy in the first book. We really didn't have time to really get a deep dive. So this is the book for the deep dive on everything about her. And she has, in her tragic past, she actually saw her mother murder her father when she was only 17 years old. She came home from school and she saw her mother standing over her father's dead body with a bloody knife. And, everything just went completely haywire. And, her mother became catatonic and was institutionalized, could never speak in her own defense. But 10 years later, now Dani is 27 years old, and her mother has started to slowly come out of her catatonic state and has started to assert that she's innocent, that she didn't do it in her own sort of really broken way. So Dani's thinking, what if I got it wrong? I mean, you have to think that she would want to believe that her mother's innocent. But on the other hand, if her mother didn't do it, then who did? And all of this,
did.
all the clues. It's almost like a locked room mystery. I kind of have a little of that going on too, because when Dani came home from school, the apartment door was locked and the murder weapon came from inside their own kitchen, and only her mother and father were in the house or in the apartment. So it's like an Agatha Christie situation. It's like, okay, if you didn't do it, who did? Did an alien beam down? I don't think so. I don't write sci-fi. So it's like, okay, what happened? So, Dani she's really, really torn in the beginning of, do I even open this up or not? And so finally she decides, I have to at least look into it. So she goes and talks to the detective, the NYPD detective who investigated the case 10 years earlier, is still on the job, but he is, getting long in the tooth and toward retirement. And she basically goes to him and is like, look, I would like to see those files. And he's like, oh yeah, guess what? I'm overworked. I have 100 cases. You're a code breaker and your specialty is recognizing patterns. Here, I have 3 cases. They might be related. They might not. You tell me if you can find a pattern in these 3 cases, because that's and she's an FBI agent. So she's law enforcement. So it's okay to share a law enforcement case with her. And he's like, you know what? You do that. You tell me if I've got a serial killer on my hands. And then if you do, then I'll let you see your father's file. But right now I have real cases with real people who could be dying, and I need to focus on them first. She agrees. She does it. They make a deal. Merriment ensues.
Merriment and mystery ensues, which is our favorite M&M combination. Julie Kodama, welcome to the conversation, saying I loved this book. The puzzles were too hard for me, of course. Tell us about the puzzles, Isabella.
Oh, wow. Now I have to admit, those are some of the most fun things I do, but also I pull my hair out. They're also some of the most challenging things I do. And it's funny because I like to write the puzzles so that the reader can solve them on the way. And I do it so the reader can have a chance. And then like a page or 2 later, there is the answer. I don't just leave you hanging, with no resolution. I do give you the answer, but you have a chance if you want to try it. But man, some of them are hard. But I tell you what, when I don't make them hard, then readers are like, oh, it was too easy, and then I make it hard. Oh, it's too hard. But this one, for the first time, I challenged myself with math. And came up with, like, for those math people out there, came up with like a polynomial multifactorial equation.
I don't know these words, Isabella. Oh my God.
It's like advanced math. It has the components have, a little bit of trigonometry, a little bit of algebra, a little algebra 2, sines and functions, a little of that going on, in there for those people. But they're not all math. There's just one math equation. The other ones, there's like a rhyme that I made up. And there's like a riddle or 2, and you can see if you can solve the riddle. So, it's a wide variety of different things. Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
I had myself muted because I didn't want my little typing fingers to be heard. This is the second book in your Dani series, but not your first time with puzzles and codes and ciphers.
Yes.
So Isabella, are you a puzzle nerd?
I kind of am a little. I do. I think that my brain enjoys the challenge. And I think that's one of the reasons why I always loved reading mysteries and, crime fiction, even from the time I was really little. Do you remember, like Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys? And there was one called Cherry Ames even. Oh my gosh, I'm really dating myself. Okay, with that one.
I had the whole Nancy Drew collection. Nancy Drew girl here.
There you go. Okay, there you go. But, but I read the Hardy Boys too. And there was one, what was it? Jupiter Brown or something. Encyclopedia Brown. That's what it was. That too. I mean, it's like all that kind of stuff when I was real little, and it just got me hooked on trying to figure out mysteries, solve clues and puzzles, because they always had these riddles and puzzles. And that really got me hooked. And then I just kind of never outgrew it. So I guess I had to get into police work because, that's exactly what Nancy Drew did. Yeah, she was it turned out to be a little different from what I imagined, but that's okay. 22 years later, I come out the other end and I have, big girl mysteries to solve. So it worked out.
Fun fact, Isabella is a real life retired police officer. She was the first Latina woman to make police captain in her precinct, and she was handpicked by the FBI to go to the National FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. So Isabella is not only a crime, we're getting so many hearts up on Facebook, so many surprise faces on Facebook. So not only is Isabella a crime fiction writer, she's a real life crime fighter. And so I think that's one of the many things that I really love about your books, Isabella. I love your characters, your fierce, fabulous characters. I love the cases that they work on, the crimes that they solve. And I love that everything is backed up by your real life experience. So when nothing annoys me more than something that is just so unrealistic. It's never going to happen. So one of the things I love about your books is that when an FBI agent is doing some investigation, when a police person, a police officer is working, I know this is true because you did it.
Yeah, it's as true as I can make it and still, keep the story going at a fast pace. I mean, I will say that in reality, thank you, Kathy. I will say that in reality, things go slower than that. And that's why, same thing happens in movies and television where they have to compress the time in order to make everything happen within an hour. But in reality, like if I were to get into some sort of a situation, I had to use deadly force, even just to discharge my weapon, even if nobody got, killed, I would still, they take your gun away and then you have to start going through, internal affairs and then a criminal investigation and all these other things have to happen. And it's like everything goes to a grinding halt. You're taken offline for weeks. And it's like that would really kill a high octane thriller. So I have to always come up with ways to keep the action moving. So sometimes I will bend reality a little, but that my brothers and sisters in law enforcement always tell me that they still enjoy my books because I find kind of a tricky way around those rules that's still realistic enough that they can okay, I can see how they would need to do this, or they didn't have a chance to take her offline because then this happened and, that sort of thing. So I find ways.
That's fair. I mean, we can't have 300 pages of Dani being, taken off of
Yes.
off the beat while they, investigate the discharging of her weapon.
Exactly.
We appreciate you compressing it. Oh my goodness, we have Deborah J. Ledford in the audience.
Oh, Deb.
Hi, Deb. We have Sharon Bishop saying, "Hey, girls. Hey, girls. Good to see you." Randy wants us to know that his grandson is watching. Of course. Oh, we have a special crime writing fan, a little fan. Hi, Dakota. Let's say hi to Dakota.
Oh, hi, Dakota. Wait a minute. What is there? Something about
Dakota?
Dakota. Hi, Dakota.
Randy's a valued member of the Mavens community. He's been with us for years. Hi, Dakota. Thanks for tuning in. You have to grow up to read lots of books. So start reading young.
Start like I did. Start young.
Me too. Yay. Thanks for watching with us, Dakota. Sharon saying, Isabella, your book sounds so amazing. It is so amazing. I am halfway through and I am thoroughly enjoying it, as I always enjoy all of your books. Renee saying, hello, Sarah and Isabella from Southeast Florida. Hi, Renee. So good to have you here. Sharon saying she loves puzzles. They are her thing.
Good.
Renee saying she really enjoys reading Dani stories. Let's pause there. So this is book 2 in the Dani series. How many Dani books are we looking at?
Well, I think it's going to end up being a trilogy. I seem to write trilogies, and this is now my 3rd trilogy. So what is that? A tri-trilogy? I don't know. A trifecta of trilogies? I don't know. But yes, so this is my 3rd set. And I'm writing the 3rd one, like I said, even as we speak. And with the Dani series, they're all very code and puzzle heavy. Yes. Very much so.
Mm-hmm. Now, with the Nina Guerrera series, there was also 3. We also had some puzzles, which were super fun. Have you ever thought about going beyond 3? Have you ever thought about going to the Patricia Cornwell? I think she's got 36 K Scarpettas. Have you thought about that? Or just 3 is your lucky number?
Well, no, I mean, I think I would be very happy to do more, but I'm traditionally published, so the publisher has something to say about that. And so I think they like to keep things fresh at this point and whatever. But hey, if anybody wants to start a write-in campaign to my publisher demanding more, that's fine. I mean, I'm down for it.
I feel like I want more Nina Guerrera. You
Yeah.
kind of left us. I really enjoy Dani, but Nina
Yes.
is my girl.
I
Nina
know.
was my first love. I
Yep.
love me some Nina Guerrera. Oh my goodness, we have New York Times bestselling author Mark Greaney joining us.
Oh,
I
wow.
just hosted
Hi,
Mark 2 weeks ago for the latest in his Gray Man series, which
Yes.
just hit the New York Times. Congratulations, Mark. And we can't wait to see you at Thriller Fest. I was just looking at your graphics today. So we can't wait to get some more Gray Man in person, some Gray Man Greeny in person at Thriller Fest. So if y'all love mysteries and thrillers as much as I do, as much as we all do, come to New York, where Isabella and Mark Greaney will both be joining us and speaking about their books, their careers, their incredible writing. But Isabella, you left us on a bit of a cliffhanger with Nina Guerrera. So DiVello is starting a campaign to bring Nina back.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do that. They will pay attention. I'm sure.
Renee wants to know, what kind of puzzles do you like, Isabella?
Well, actually, I create a variety of puzzles because I like a variety of puzzles. So, and sometimes it depends on my mood. Sometimes I can do something that's, very sort of conformist, like like a Sudoku or a crossword, or little code breaking exercises or whatever, which I do sometimes. But other times I like to really go off the rails and do really unusual kinds of puzzles. And actually, those are the most fun for me. Is when I create a puzzle.
Okay.
And that's what I do. I find it a lot of fun to do that. And then you learn and you do research. And since Dani is a code breaker and she's like trained in the military in cryptanalysis, I had to really learn what that is all about.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of history to it. And so I had to make those kinds of puzzles. And some of the readers just really loved it and they responded. Like, I explained what the date shift code was in the first book. And then some of the readers like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I understand how this works. And then they would quickly put the book down and they'd start solving the puzzle once they learned how to do it. And they had so much fun because then they were able to, and then they actually solved it. And then they're like, I was right. That's what this says. Oh my gosh. And then they were able to go on to the next clue. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my God. It's so cool. It's so cool. Robin joining us from Facebook saying, hello. Hi, Robin. Thanks so much for tuning in. John joining us from Northeast Ohio. Hi, John. Thanks for joining us. Dave joining us from Alaska. Dave, I think you win the furthest away award so far. He says he was first exposed to your books through Prime Reads, but now he's completely hooked and a fan.
Okay. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have 2 books. One was The Cipher, was an Amazon First Reads, and then the first one in this series, A Killer's Game, was also a Prime Reads selection. I'm very fortunate that was able to happen. It was fun.
And Isabella's coming on tonight to give us the inside scoop on A Forgotten Kill, which is available for pre-order from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book. So, hey, fam, get your pre-orders in, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Here is that link. Click and pre-order as fast as your little fingers can fly so that you can immerse yourself in the world of cryptography, Dani, serial killers, murderers, all of the good things we'd love to do. So here is that link. Julie saying, she wants more Nina too. The movement is already over.
Want more? Okay. All right. You know what? We're going to have to come up with a link or something.
I'll do it. I'm going to exactly. Sharon wants to know, is that a coat or angel wings behind you?
Oh man, you're right. It does look like angel. Now that I see it, I'm able to see it in there. It is just a coat. It's a soft, fuzzy coat. It looks like angel wings. I can flap. The reason I put the coat behind me is the chair behind me is exactly the color of my hair. and I just
Wow.
blend and I look like a face floating in a sea of chocolate brown. It's
Instead,
not,
you're now an angel fluttering her
yeah,
little
exactly.
angel
This is
wings.
better. I'll go for that. I'll go for that. I like it.
Randy says, congratulations on your successful police career and sharing that he's a previous officer himself, 8 years of cert.
Wow, that, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Well, congratulations for that too. That is really amazing. It takes a special person, I will say, to get into this career. It's kind of a thankless job, especially nowadays, but it always kind of was. I put it to you this way. No one ever calls the police because they're having a good day.
Yeah. Hi, I'm having a great day.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah. Yeah. Just want to call and let you know life is good. I mean, yeah.
Oh my
It's
God, I'm
like,
going to do that now and bring just like
just
a
do
cake
that.
and just
Yeah.
say thank you for
Thank
service.
you. There you go. It's like you, and so therefore you kind of have to go into it knowing that you're going to see everybody on their worst day. So yeah, that's kind of the way it is.
And you know what's so interesting is Randy and his wife tune in every Monday. They are valued members of our Mavens community. They just won a copy of a book giveaway 2 weeks ago. And Randy, I did not know this about you. So see, I'm learning more about you here in the Mavens community. I love that. Sharon wants to know, Isabella, do you make regular puzzles too? You know, the ones that come in a box, or are you just into this law enforcement, cryptography, FBI stuff?
You know, Sharon, that's a great idea. I never thought about that. What if I did?
Oh my God, what if it was the book cover?
Yeah, what if I did? I no, the answer is no, I don't, but I should do that. Ooh, and then I could do like a giveaway, like for people in my newsletter, they could win a puzzle box or something that I create.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. Oh my gosh. And
Cool.
Sharon Bishop thought of it. What a great
I
idea.
know. That's
Oh my
a
God, I love that.
smart idea.
See, look at all these cool things that are happening right now.
I know. I'm going to do something like that. That's good. Because people, I think people who like me like puzzles. You know,
I love
even though not all my books involve puzzles, but you know, they all involve mystery.
Exactly. And that's what we're here for here in Mystery and Thriller Ravens. Renee saying, Isabella, she already pre-ordered your book and she can't wait to read it. Kathy saying, yes, Murder by the Book of Texas. Great. Yay. Kathy, Team Texas. Great to have you in the house. Sharon saying she loves that. Oh, that would be so cool. Yay. Randy saying police work equals 8 hours of boredom and 15 minutes of extreme terror. That must
I agree.
Be tough, spiking your adrenaline like that and then going into a state of extreme boredom.
Yes, I agree. And there's times where you kind of come home and you're like, I don't even know how I made it through my shift. I have no idea, you know? And it's really, and, you know, for me, you know, you start out in patrol. There's no such thing as like, it's not like the military where you come in as a lieutenant if you go through officer candidate school. In police work, everyone starts out like just as a patrol officer going in patrol. And so, you know, you've got to kind of do your time doing that. There's no way to get away from that. But eventually I decided that I wanted to go for promotion. And so that took a while. It actually took me 8 years to make sergeant. And then after that, then the promotions came more regularly. And on my department, it was, you know, a sergeant and then a second lieutenant and then a first lieutenant and then a captain. So, you know, that's where, and then after that, it was a major and then a deputy chief. And, you know, so I was considered command staff when I left. And so that was kind of it was a lot because I got to run a precinct at one point where I was a precinct commander. And It's like having your own miniature police department. I had like, I don't know, something like around 140 or 150 personnel that were just in my precinct. And because it was a large department that I was on. So, so it's like having your own, I had my own detectives and my own patrol officers and, you know, civilian personnel and all that. Kept me busy.
Exactly. Kept you very busy. I'm sure. I mean, wow, I love hearing these glimpses behind the woman, and now retired Captain Isabella Maldonado is reporting for mystery and thriller duty,
Correct.
which is so fun, and getting to hear the inside scoop on this. Um, and Isabella, one of the things, Isabella, everybody was kind enough to provide a blurb for my book, Broadway Butterfly. And one of the many reasons that I wanted to ask her is because, first of all, I love and respect her work so much, but because my book was a true crime and a true story, and one of the points of view was the head of the NYPD detectives unit, I wanted a retired police officer to be able to weigh in on that. And Isabella was kind enough to do that. And so, Isabella, I just want to say how meaningful that was to me. So thank you again for that. And how much, because I think it's important that we get police stories right. And if you are a retired police officer, of course you can do that because you have that on the ground experience. But if you're, just a writer like me, I think it's important to ask the experts, to weigh in.
Still, even if you've been on the job, like I was not in the NYPD. And in this book, I set it in New York City, and I needed to feature the NYPD. And so thank goodness I was able to get a hold of 3 different NYPD retired, 2 of them retired detectives, and another one like a retired sergeant. They were incredibly helpful to make sure, because what I've learned is every department is different. Their procedures, their policies, their lingo, just their culture, the way they do things, it's all very different. And I did not want to make the mistake that I see a lot on television. Television's really guilty of it, where everything kind of sounds like one police department, and they use the same lingo. It's like, we all don't talk like that. And just it sort of becomes this thing where everybody's using the same lingo. And I really try to make it very specific. One of my series is set in Phoenix. And I made sure I got really embedded with the Phoenix Police Department, because I wasn't in Phoenix either as a police commander or officer.
Wow.
So I did the same thing. They have a radically different culture than NYPD, but it's another very large police department. They have thousands of officers in Phoenix. It was the same thing. So I had to make sure I was very accurate to that as well.
Isabella, what was one thing that surprised you about how different it was from the NYPD to the Arizona PD?
I think a lot of things are the same, but some of the things I noticed that were really different was the kind of the levels of bureaucracy, and part of that comes from just the sheer size. I actually learned, I did not know this, but I learned the NYPD is actually the largest police department in the world, the largest municipal police department.
Wow.
Not the largest law enforcement agency, but the largest city police department in the world. And so just that sheer level of bureaucracy makes it, on the one hand, they have some of the most sophisticated stuff that you can possibly imagine, an enormous budget into the billions, and tens of thousands of officers and stuff like this that you would not imagine. So it gives them this incredible capability that they have. But on the other hand, they have so many more challenges, and making a change in that department is like turning an aircraft carrier around. It requires, a lot to make any kind of implement a change with it, that's going to go widespread through the department. And they're very structured with what they do. And so that's one of the things I noticed.
Interesting. Robin saying, Isabella, my son had drug issues for several years, and we saw our local law enforcement many times. He finally got it together and once was followed home by 2 police cars. They just wanted to let him know he looked great, and they were so proud of him.
Oh, I'm so glad. That really makes my heart feel warm. I wish more stories like that made the news. I really do. And you know what? I will say this, it doesn't surprise me. Some of the stuff I know that I've done, some of the stuff I know that other officers are done, that is exactly the kind of thing that I have seen officers do everything from, working with kids with physical challenges or helping them get treatment for drug addiction or other things, and trying to befriend them with sports and things so they don't feel so threatened, and a lot of other things that go on. It's hard to explain to the public how many amazing, wonderful, warm-hearted officers that there are. Because again, usually when you see an officer, it's because things have gone totally off the rails. You're having your worst day, and so the officer has to react to that, and they're not able to be, kind in the beginning. But this is wonderful that they actually were able to continue following your son and able to say that, and that your son was able to have closure. Thank goodness. Oh, that makes me so happy.
That makes me so happy too. Robin, thank you for sharing that lovely story. And I'm so glad your son is doing well, and that he, felt so supported and cared for, as he deserves to. Kathy says she has a question. Isabella, do you have any suggestions for how to make connections with retired law enforcement personnel near where you locate your stories? Yeah. So how did you reach out to the NYPD? Did you just call the switchboard or what?
Nope. I wouldn't do that. What I would recommend doing is there's a couple different ways, and it depends on whether you're talking about whether you want to set a story like a small town sheriff with only 10 people on the agency, or again something like NYPD. Every agency has a PIO or a public relations or something like that. Every agency does. Actually, at one point in my career, when I was a lieutenant, I was in charge of our public affairs office. So I got to field some of these, or the people who worked with me did. But you can start by calling their public affairs, and what they would do. And actually, you're very smart. See, that's a really, I can tell that Kathy's intelligent. She's asking the right question. A retired officer is the way to go. The ones that are working are way too busy, but the retired ones are often really able to talk to you. So what you can do is you call the PIO and you ask for like a retired officers organization, whether it's the FOP or they often have these various kind of benevolent organizations or whatever, and then they can give you the number or get you in touch with, or you can even Google. Again, if it's a larger department, you could Google, like, let's say what the Boise FOP lodge, and you'll get the number, and then you can call up and you can just tell them, I'm working on a story. I'm interested in talking to a retired detective or a retired, supervisor, or, what have you. And I would love that. We don't really get paid to do this. You can buy us a coffee or something, but it's really not a paid gig. It's just, are you willing to sit down and talk? And some of the guys are curmudgeonly and they don't want to talk to anybody, but that happens after years. But a lot of them are very willing, and you can find them through the FOP or through a benevolent fund or something like that.
And actually, my very dear friend, Lisa Genova, who is a New York Times bestselling author of Still Alice and Inside the O'Briens and many other wonderful books, she connected with a police officer when she was researching Inside the O'Briens, which was about a police officer and his family who are wrestling with Huntington's disease diagnoses. Oh. And he became a lifelong friend, and now he's one of her first readers of her subsequent books. So it's really lovely to see. Okay, Dave from Alaska wants to know, and I love this question, Isabella, which character do you think is more like you, Nina or Dani?
Oh man, he left out Miranda Cruz.
Miranda Cruz. And how we're reading.
It's okay. It's okay. Wow. It's well, honestly, if I had to choose just between those two, probably more Nina, in the sense that Dani is just so okay. So for the people who haven't read her, I was very inspired about Dani. I wanted to write a woman who was just so really strong and fierce. And, I was thinking to myself, why does Jack Reacher get to have all the fun, and Jason Bourne and, fill in the blank, all of these really cool, Dirk Pitt, whatever. I mean, why do they get to have all the fun? I want an action hero that's a woman, but, and this is really important to me too, believably so. Because that's the other thing is, when I watch TV and movies and things and read books, having been in situations on the job where I physically had to fight with a man, it is really, really hard. I'm telling you, men. I'm very much about women's rights. I wouldn't have chose a career in law enforcement nor risen to the rank of commander if I didn't think that women could be in charge. Okay. But I'm just going to tell you that physically, that even a, fit woman fighting with a full grown, angry, drunk, possibly drug enraged man, it is really, really hard, and it's really dangerous because, as we say in law enforcement, there's always a gun on the scene of every fight, and it's at least going to be yours, and you need to make sure that you don't get it taken away from you and used against you. So every fight's like a fight for your life. And that's why you see sometimes the cops, they do act like, they are fighting for their lives because that's kind of how we're trained that way. So I do get, it is frustrating for me sometimes when I see, I look on TV, and you see these beautiful, size 0 or size 2 women, and they're in their high heels and they just flip a 6-foot tall man right over their shoulder. And it's like, okay, I've never seen that done in reality with like a raging, angry suspect that you're trying to take to jail. It just, that's why you tend to do it in groups, because you just need to do that. And so I thought, okay, if I'm going to have a female action hero, I want to do it someone who's different and who's really maybe up to the task, who could be believable. So I did my research and I found out that there are female Army Rangers, like real Army Rangers. And I actually, and I'm embarrassed because I didn't know this until I did this research. But starting in 2017 was the first time that they had women that went through both parts of Ranger School. It's called Scrolled and Tabbed, and then you're in the 75th Ranger Regiment. It's not just that you went through training and got a certificate. You went all the way through both parts, and then you got assigned to a Ranger unit, and you're there, and you are a Ranger. That they don't change any of their requirements for women at all. So in 2017, the first women graduated and became Rangers. And then I believe it was 2020, the first female led a platoon of Rangers in combat. She was a Ranger herself. And in, I think, 2021, there was the first female Ranger captain. And so it is knowing and then, I did a deep dive on the research, and I got pictures of these women because they snapped some pictures of them while they're going through their training. And these women, they shave their heads, and, you see pictures of them, and they do have a full grown man that they have to carry in a fireman's carry by themselves, like a 180-pound man over their shoulder. Wow. While they are running through, because the whole point is that you can't qualify unless you can pick up your buddy and get them out of Dodge if things go bad. Otherwise, you're not pulling your weight, literally. And you cannot do the job, And so these women, oh my gosh, I was so incredibly impressed. And then one of them, I'm just like, oh my gosh, she graduated from West Point. And I'm just like, whoa. And then, and then she's the one who's a captain now. Actually, 2 of them graduated from West Point and then became Rangers. I'm like, okay, wow, these women are incredible, but they're amazing. I know. And that's the thing. Yeah. These women sound amazing. And that's why I was so impressed that I thought, okay, that's who my action hero is going to be. She's not just like part of some secret mission or something. I mean, she literally is going to be one of these women who did it. And so that was the birth of Dani Vega. And then because it's me, I said, oh, heck, let's just have the military trainer as a code breaker while we're at it. So she has that going on too. Because actually people in special forces are very intelligent. They're smart.
Yeah, it's interesting because my sister is a captain in the Army, and during
wow.
her army training, they did have to do those lifts. It was not a solo lift, but it was a group lift. And there was one person on her team that was, like a 5'2" woman. My sister's tall, like me. We're both 5'9", but then everybody had to take turns lifting and being lifted. And so when it came time to lift the 6'6", cage, the enormous weightlifter dude, it was like, that was a heavy lift, pun intended, compared to the 5'2" scrappy, female army officer. I thought to myself, that's how I know I can't be in the Army, because I cannot lift a 6'6" giant guy.
I'm very impressed by that too, actually. I mean, in the police department, in order to qualify to get on the police department, I had to drag a 175-pound dummy. I didn't have to lift him though, but it was 175 pounds, but I had to drag him 30 feet because the idea was, maybe he was like in a burning car or in danger and I had to drag him. So
Yes. Dot wants to know, what is the name of the book? The name of the book is A Forgotten Kill. Here she is, A Forgotten Kill. And you can pre-order from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, Murder by the Book. And here is that link. So whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, pre-order your copy of A Forgotten Kill right here.
And for the in-order readers, this is book 1, A Killer's Game. See, there you go. So this is book 1. That's book 2. I'm an in-order reader. I feel like I have to know the whole story, but that's just me. They can be read as standalone. You do not have to read them in order, but I just think it's much more fun to do that.
Dave is saying he didn't read The Cruise yet, but he just added it to his Goodreads. Thank you, Dave.
Oh, you'll love it.
Thank you for this backstory, Isabella. This is also great. Robin saying, thank you so much. And yes, they met many wonderful law enforcement people during those years. Her son has now 10 years and 5 months of sobriety, and he is adulting fairly well. Congratulations to you and your son, Robin. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. Margaret saying, curmudgeonly detective ever. Wink.
Yes, it's so true. They get crusty and it just happens. I think it's just after 30 years of hearing everyone lying to you and being mean to you and spitting on you and everything. After a while, you're just like, I don't want to be spit on.
Kathy saying, thank you so much for your awesome advice about how to get in touch with how to find a local law enforcement officer when you're writing about that area. Liza says hello. Hi, Liza.
Liza. Hi.
And we have Robin saying her back is hurting just thinking about what these women are reading or lifting. Renee sending us so much love. Robin saying these are the women's stories largely unknown and sadly more recent than people realize. Absolutely. Yes. She adds that she is an in-order reader too. I want to know the whole story. Team whole story here as well.
That's right.
Sharon also team read the whole series in order. Oh, hey, Jane Brannigan Kaufman. She says she can't wait to read the series.
Oh, that's great.
All right, y'all, we are overtime. Time flies when you're having this much fun with such a fabulous, phenomenal guest. We have retired police captain Isabella Maldonado giving us the inside scoop on life on the police force, life in the FBI as a hand-picked police officer to go to the FBI Academy at Quantico. And you can get the scoop on FBI Agent Dani, the second book in her Vega series. Dave, last question coming in hot. Wants to know, is there any chance of a multi-charter book?
I think he means multi-character, I think.
Miranda, Nina, and Dani book. I'd tune in.
I would totally love that. Again, my publisher has to agree.
Get on board, Thomas and Mercer.
Yeah, right. Right. I mean, if I were self-published, I could do whatever I want. But yeah, my publisher has to agree. All right. Okay, that write-in campaign, we can add a sub-clause to it.
Happening now. Love, love, love. Sharon saying such a great time. Robin saying thank you both for being here today. Y'all, that is a wrap. I'll be back at the top of the hour with ex-CIA intelligence officer and former decorated Marine, Adam Sykes. Go get a drink, get a snack, and I'll see you in 15 minutes. That's a wrap for Captain Maldonado and me.